time for our guest anchor segment, Governor Kenneth Lusaka, Governor for Bungoma County, where we are coming to you live from. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Welcome.
All right. So first things first, we're talking about what's good in Bungoma County, and you have been quite busy of late,
Yes.
launching projects. But one interesting thing that you have been working on is that Alcohol and Beverages Act.
Right.
You basically trying to legalize busa.
Yes.
How?
Thank you very much. First, let me welcome you to Bungoma.
Yeah, thank you.
That is an act that is very well thought of. And I want to talk as somebody who has been a practitioner. If you look at
In the busa,
not busa.
just on a light note, yeah.
Provincial administrator.
Okay.
I worked as a DO and became the first secretary of provincial administration before eventually becoming a PS in livestock. And all the years I was a district officer, DC,
Right.
we fought busa, what we're calling the illicit brew. Of course, Changa is in another class.
Yes.
But we're talking about busa. We fought it, we sacked chiefs, we went before cameras, poured the alcohol. 20 years after I have left.
So you vividly remember calling us, the media, come cover us
Yes,
as we
come
pour.
cover us as we pour busa.
Yeah.
20 years after we did that, busa is still being drunk, busa is still being prepared
Right.
behind, the backs of people in very unhealthy circumstances. So my take and the take of even the Assembly of Bungoma and myself as the CEO was that we can't keep doing the same things the same way and expect different results. Something must be wrong. And that's why we say, why don't we come up with regulations of how busa can be taken? And we say, we want to look at, first of all, the standards. What is the quality of the busa being taken so that it's cleared, whoever is going to prepare that is cleared by the Bureau of Standards, have designated places where it can be taken, have the time when it should be taken, if it's between 2 and 6, when people have gone to work and all that. We are not saying people should just be drunkards and continue drinking. And we are saying that because when we were looking at other countries, you go to Uganda, we have what we call Uganda Waragi. You go to Tanzania, we have what we call Konyagi.
Okay.
These are local brews that have been properly done and people take in hygiene situations, environment.
Okay.
This is what our act seeks to address. The regulations we are putting in place seek to address that so that people, because a magistrate finds an old lady 10,000 shillings because she was found taking busa. In the evening, the same magistrate is taking Jack Daniels or Black Label in a bar.
Yes, so you're trying to equalize the situation for everybody.
There's no civilized drunkardness. A drunkard is just a drunkard. If you fall in a mutaro, you fall in a mutaro because you are drunk. So we are saying these are vulnerable people. And we must also take care of the people who are vulnerable. What we just check is the standard, make sure that the timing and all that.
Because that's important, because I mean, one of the issues is the health, conditions in which this busa is made.
Yes, we are not advocating for those the third generation drinks that people take and get blind. In fact, nobody has ever, in my memory, if my memory serves me right, nobody has ever died because of taking busa unless they have put poison. This is like just porridge. It's just like food, which people take. And in fact, if somebody is hungry and he takes busa, you'll get satisfied, you'll just get a bit tipsy, but you'll be satisfied. So we are saying, the PS for Interior was here. He's my friend. I don't want to contradict him. I don't want us to enter into unhelpful discussions. But we are saying, let us change tact. If we are going to approach eradication of illicit brew the way we did when I was a DO in 1989, 1990, we are going to get it wrong. We are going just to get policemen harassing innocent Mwanainji, chasing them like antelopes. People change tact, they will go to maize plantations and take busa and run away. So what we are saying is that let us regulate it, let us have it done in a good environment so that people can also comfortably take it and enjoy, like somebody who's taking a Jack Daniel and watching this news right now.
Oh, okay, well, interesting. So I want us to proceed to another issue, which really, I've gotten so many people asking on my Twitter handle, and of course it's the wheelbarrows.
Yes.
Another time that, this busa thing maybe is going to put Bungoma, in the headlines, but another thing that did previously is the 100,000 shillings wheelbarrows.
Right.
First of all, the last thing, where that conversation was left at is that you're conducting investigations into that.
Yes.
What is the report about that?
Put this into perspective.
Right.
First of all, the person who came up with the idea of wheelbarrows costing 109 was myself. I ordered.
So you
an internal audit just to check how ministries were operating.
Okay.
So when I saw that a wheelbarrow was costing 109, I was also curious, just like anybody would be curious in Kenya and in the world.
Right.
So I asked the Ministry of Livestock, the Ministry of Agriculture, to provide me with information.
Right.
And they gave me information that, one, the idea of making wheelbarrows of that nature came from the national government, which is in charge of standards and policy. And they were saying, and I can also tell you that for a fact, having been a PS in the midst of livestock development, that if you want to export any meat, and we have a chicken slaughterhouse in Chile, which is going to export chicken, if you want to export any meal from there, then you must use material that is not ordinary. That's why we're talking about the non-carcinogenic material.
So just explain to us what is special about this wheelbarrow.
It is not, the material that is used is material that will not rust, and you don't want to put your meat or any meat stuff on something that rusts. The moment you do that, FAO will never allow you to export any meat to any part of this world. So what happened, this thing assumed a political angle. People went and bought ordinary wheelbarrows and were running with them all over the place saying, now this is a wheelbarrow that Bungoma has bought.
Okay.
I'm not a mad person. We had just bought wheelbarrows at 5,000, 3,000, 4,000, which were used to collect rubbish. So what that means is just a food trolley.
But 5,000 is also quite on the higher side for...
No, I'm saying, no, if
yes.
I'm just talking about an ordinary wheelbarrow.
Okay.
It could be 2,000 or 1,000, but I'm differentiating.
Okay.
That the material that is used for that particular wheelbarrow or food trolley is what really matters. Just like the aluminium, how much does it cost to buy a milk can that you put milk? It's over 30,000 because of the material that's used. But this thing assumed a political angle. People are running all over, and I say now, if that is the idea, first, let's get ESCC, let's get people to come and investigate. We are waiting for a report to come and tell us exactly what they have found out. So as we speak, it is still under investigation.
But the other thing about this particular project, the chicken, the slaughterhouse, is that there are critics who are saying that it has not taken off. It has been months. The wheelbarrows and other, of course, resources have been put in place, but this thing has not taken off.
There are people who will never see anything positive. You tell him this glass is half full, he says it's half empty. That person, you cannot convince him whether we went and tested the slaughterhouse. By the way, that was my brainchild when I was a PS in the midst of livestock, because I knew Western Kenya, chicken rearing is something that is done naturally. And I said, let me put there something that the people of Western, the people of Bungoma, will invest in an easy way. So we went, it has been running. First of all, it was a national government. When we took over as a county government, we have also injected funds there. And as we speak, it's 90% complete. You can go there and see. The machines have been tested, it's running. All we are telling our people is now to keep chicken. But people want to criticize everything you do. That is why the poverty index is still at 53%. Because you're asking now, the governor has brought us a slaughterhouse. Where shall we get chicken?
All right.
We want our people to be employed. We are saying, first of all, get your things right.
Okay.
Go and form groups, rear chicken, and take that. There's now a market. Because what used to happen in the past, a mother moves around with chicken from morning to evening. Nobody buys it. She goes home. She ends up eating the chicken, and she's tired. It's a double tragedy. Now we're saying here is a market for the chicken which you can take there. Yours will be production.
Right.
Somebody else is going to do the marketing for you.
I'm sure that the Bungoma residents who are watching, they're wondering, when is it going to take off? Today at least you said that in 30 days, Pan paper is going to be up and running. But for this specific project, because like you'd mentioned, it would really provide financial cushion for so many families who are watching, and they're wondering, when is this thing going to start? It
would be safe to say before the end of the year, by Christmas time, everything will be done. Because what is remaining are just minor things, landscaping and all that. And you see, we're also not going to run it as a county government. It's not our business to slaughter chicken and sell. We have a PPP. We have a private partner who is going to run it on behalf of the county government. And so, of course, I'm understanding we're going to sign an MOU.
All right.
So everything is ready. Once everything is signed, my bet is that before Christmas, it should be up and running, because everything is set. We went there when we were commissioning the machines. People were there and they ate chicken which had been slaughtered there, and they could see how it was working. And we just want to make sure that everything is right. We meet the sanitary standards, because that must also be is an aspect that we must put in place.
All right.
Okay.
So with all the projects that you seem to be busy, what is the one thing that you can say, you can proudly say that you began right from the time you took office, and now the elections is just about 9 months away, that you can proudly say that this is what I've been able to offer people of Bungoma County?
One, when I took over as the governor, one issue that I put in mind, and if you look at my manifesto, was to have a united county. Bungoma is a cosmopolitan county. And I say my political pillar will be to ensure that everybody who is in this county, whether you are a Sabot, a Bukusu, Tachoni, Teso, or Mutura, you are part of that government. That's why I picked my deputy from Mount Elgon. So there has been that stability. In the past, there's been runs, between the communities here, but now there's stability. When you come to infrastructure, when I took over this Bungoma town that you are moving around, the good roads that you see now were not there. They were full of potholes. People were planning to plant bananas every day. We have done that. We have done the street lights. We've done most of our urban roads. You go to Kimilili, they do not have tarmac. As we speak now, even we are upgrading the roads. The rural roads, we have done more than 168 rural roads. Of course, because of rains and El Nino, some of them have been damaged.
Okay.
In the health sector, we are also refurbishing our hospital, Bungoma Hospital. When I took over, we had a challenge of the theater. We didn't have beds. We didn't have even dialysis machine. These things are now there. But another significant thing that I want to mention is a high altitude training center in a place called Chemoge in Mount Elgon. It's going to be the biggest. Phase 1 is ready. It's going to be the biggest facility in the country, and in fact in the region, because it's a hybrid of Kaptagat and E10. And we also have very good athletes from Mount Elgon, and that is going to take care of, going to be an income generating project.
All right, interesting. Now we need to go to some bit of politics, because the projects that you're talking about, I'm sure some of them will need you to be present for a second term.
Right.
But now that you changed your outfit, evidently, and your party, do you think that with Western Kenya warming up to the opposition very, very hard, do you think that you're going to have that second chance?
Of course, I'm very confident. I'm not a fool. One thing that I know is that I'm not a fool. And
what does that mean?
It means that the decisions that I make are decisions that are well informed.
And this decision was well informed.
It was consultative, because even when I came to run in 2013, when I joined New Fort Kenya, I was told that was a wrong move. Some people wanted me to go to ODM. Some people wanted me to go to Fort Kenya. Luckily, Bungoma people voted for me, not because of the party. And what I also want to say is that it's not the uniform you are wearing that matters. It is how you play. If you are a good player, you can even score when you are naked.
But in Kenya, it has, it's proven that
in
it's
Bungoma,
sometimes
but I'm telling you about Bungoma. We have 11 political parties in our county assembly. We have the majority leaders. We have the majority in our county assembly in Bungoma and Trans Nzoia when we were New Fort Kenya. Fort Kenya is in fact number 3. ODM is number 2. So what that tells you, the many political parties in Bungoma, is sometimes people look not at parties, they look at personalities. What is it you can deliver as a person? And that is going to be very, very important. But we're also saying, of course, when you join a new outfit, people will be anxious, people will be suspicious, and tell me which party originated in Bungoma. For example, Ford Kenya came and found KANU. When Ford Kenya was being formed, KANU was the dominant party. New Ford Kenya was a breakaway from Ford Kenya. And when New Ford Kenya was formed, people were skeptical. They said, no, that's a big mistake. Should not have made that. So all that we need to do is to explain to our people. And by the way, some of the greatest proponents of Ford Kenya now were the greatest opponents of Ford Kenya then. They were in KANU. And they were saying now, in fact, I remember one time my senator in some funeral said, was advising the people of Bungoma not to go to those tribal parties, but to join a bigger party, because it was in KANU. So we are saying it's the way we talk to our people.
All right.
We are going to explain why do I think Jubilee is the way to go.
All right. We'll continue with this conversation in a short while, but for now, though, I would just want to get a very brief comment. Your Senator Moses Wetangula is, trying to bid for the presidency. What do you think his chances are?
The chances, one, are very remote.
Okay.
It will depend. If he's going to be the flag bearer, of course his chances will increase. But again, it's also not likely that you can just transfer loyalty because Raila Odinga has followers, and all those followers will automatically become Wetangula's followers. Politics sometimes doesn't work like that. I've talked to colleagues who are saying if Raila does not run, then they will even go to Jubilee.
All right.
So you cannot assume that you're going to transfer loyalty, all your followers, to follow this one because they have said this one should.
So you're saying that his chances are slim?
Are very slim.
Actually, very slim.
Yeah, to be very, very, very honest.
To be very honest. Yeah. All right, thank you so much. So we'll continue with the conversation with Governor Lusaka. Send in your questions if you have any, #Friday Briefing. But for now, though, the other reason that you're here is to read for Kenyans the news. So I want you to turn and face the camera. Can see clearly?
Yes.
Yeah? There you go. So I want you to introduce yourself. And then let's see if in case, after the second time, if you're not able to get something else, you'll be a news anchor at KTN.
Okay, my name is Kenneth Lusaka, bringing you news from Sikata, Bungoma. Talochan Limited, the company that purchased the Webuye pan paper mills earlier this year, says the plant will be up and running in the next 30 days. The plant, which closed down in 2008 over accumulation of debts, is expected to create 1,500 new jobs.
Western Kenya industrial giant. Finally, there's a sign of a white smoke from the Webuye pan paper mills.
We have also seen the paper machines. They have done the trials, the trial running, and we are very confident that this should be able to be operational maybe by the end of the month.
The very first phase is to bring back quickly the life back to the mill. That would entail restarting production on one paper machine, while we work on the project to build a new recovery boiler and a new pulp mill.
The plant was in May this year, sold to Talochan Limited, a subsidiary of the Rai Group of companies, at a cost of 900 million shillings, with a promise to pump in 6 billion shillings to revive the plant back to full operation. The investor says the plant will create over 1,500 new jobs.
Parallel to that, we are also looking at opening up opportunities for fresh graduates, fresh diploma holders, fresh school leavers, so that we can build up the team for the next generation.
I don't think that President Uhuru Kenyatta or myself in Jubilee would want just to gain a political mileage out of this. That is not going to happen. But if we gain, so be it. But what is most important is that it's going to work, it's going to create employment for about 1,500 people of this region, and it's going to spur the economic growth, the economy of this area which had completely collapsed.
Across Bungoma County, residents are optimistic that their once key source of livelihood will soon be up and running.
Kampuni kama pan paper ikifunguliwa, iko manufaa kwa sisi wafanyabiashara. Na town pia ita expand. Because kampuni zikiwa kwa town ama kwa mji, kuna ajira, kuna circulation of money ikiwa sawa.
Itakuwa na manufaa sisi wakaaji wa Webuye, manake biashara ilirudi chini tangu hicho kiwanda kifungwe. Circulation ya pesa hakuna. Kikifunguliwa, at least business itainuka.
Tujue terms of service, mshahara gani, kwa sababu sasa mshahara tulikuwa nayo ni almost 10 years ago. Uwezi kujua mwenye amenunua hata kuandika na mshahara wa pesa. So many factors determine watu kurudi huko.
Although used for many years by previous regimes as a key political bargaining chip, the hope for the residents of Bungoma is that the plant will finally be fully operational to create the jobs for not only the residents here but Kenyans from other parts of the country. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News in Bungoma.
All right. Thank you so much, Muremi, for that story. I think, let me rate you, Governor. I think you did really well.
Thank you.
It's only that at the end you forgot to mention the name of the reporter, Muremi Mwangi.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the message was passed.
Right.
So I think I'm going to give you a 7 out of 10. That's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.